Welcome to Page Rendering Part 3. So if we hop back into the page process, you can see that we're going to use this substitution variable. We're going to get the application user who we're logged in as, and we're going to write out that information. I can have success or error messages defined for this particular process. Because it's something pretty simple, I'm not going to go through and define any of that additional information. And I can specify the condition type when this process is executed. If I say process not conditional, it will always be executed. But I have a lot of different ways of specifying if this particular process is executed or not. In later lessons, we're going to go through and look at all of these different things that we can specify and how a particular piece of code is executed or not. But for this case, we don't want it to be conditional at all. We want it to fire every single time somebody accesses this page. Once I say create process, you can see the movie audit process is now available to me. If I had made any errors inside my PL/SQL definition, I would not have been able to finish the particular wizard. It would have popped up with an error message saying, I don't understand the PL/SQL code that you're trying to execute. So I'm going to hop into another tool right now called SQL Developer. And as you can see, inside my movie audit table, I have no records. See, I can refresh, and just to show you that this is real, there's no records inside my movie audit table right now. If I go back into my application and I run the application, as soon as I access the page, because I put it in the header information, it should have written out a record into my audit table. Let's hop back into the audit table. Let's do a refresh. And as you can see, there's my admin user. That's who I'm logged in as. And there's my movie time. Every time I access this, I should get another record in here. So let's go to application 101. And then I'll access page number 3 a second time. I run it again. I should have a second entry now. As soon as I refresh, there's my second entry. This fires every time I access the page. And every time the header is displayed on the page, it's going to go through this process, execute this movie audit process, and write a record out to my database. That's certainly not the only thing you can do when you want to modify the page rendering settings inside your Oracle Application Express application. As we've seen, there's a lot of different things that we can do inside all of the different components. Before the header, before the regions are displayed, after the regions are displayed, before the footer's displayed, and after the footer's displayed. We can even create new regions that pop up automatically after the footer is displayed. Most of the time, you'll be dealing with computations or processes. Computations can manipulate items that we have on the page here. As you can see, here's our items that make up this particular page. Or they can modify items that you create at the page level that are not associated with a particular region. Not all the regions that you see on a particular page will have items associated with them. If you remember from our hierarchy, we said that in Application Express, we have workspaces, which are made up of one or more applications, which are made up of one or more pages, which are made up of one or more regions, and each region is made up of one or more items. But not every region actually has an item, so it's not one or more items, it could be 0 or more items. A real easy way to identify the items on a particular page is the naming convention that Oracle Application Express creates for you automatically. When I selected the information from the movie table, Oracle Application Express created these items for me, and you can see the naming convention that it created. The 3 comes from the page number inside my application. So this is page number 3, and Oracle Application Express automatically created items for me called P3 underscore, and then the column name inside my database. If I look at page number 2, however, which is a report, I have columns from my report, but notice the naming convention. First of all, there's no items heading in my hierarchy, and notice the naming convention. There's nothing here that says P2 underscore movie ID or P2 underscore title. Those are technically not items inside this particular page. I don't have the ability to go in there and change any of that information. So when I run this page, you can see I can't go in here and change any of this around. So it's not technically an item. It's just the output of a report. If I want to edit any of this information, like if I want to edit all that jazz, I'm taken to the pencil icon, which redirects me to this page. The form page has items on it that I can manipulate and do things with. So when I say edit page 3, there are all of the different items that are associated with it. The computation and process wizards are all pretty straightforward. They all pretty much make sense. So when I say I want to create a new process, I simply right-click and select Create, or if I go to the component display, I can go in here and say, you know what, I want to create a new computation or a new process. And again, the only difference will be in these two wizards where I specify that this particular piece of code wants to get executed. So here, I have to specify, do I want it before header, after footer, any of these different pieces that are available to me on the page. Whereas if I run the same wizard from the tree view, it will automatically fill in that information for me. See how it's automatically filled in after regions? And it did that because I was here in after regions when I specified I wanted a new computation.